Okay, so this one is Biden's hiring an ex-Clinton and Obama staffer, and he was also Twitter's policy director for his transitioning team. So, according to Politico News, this Twitter public policy director, his name is Carlos Monge. He left the Twitter to join the transition team, and it's not clear what position he's going to have. But he serves as co-chair of Biden's Infrastructure Policy Committee and helped boost a fundraiser for Joe Biden this week. And let's look at some of his background. He served as a director of agency review on this team that prepared in vain for Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's administration. He helped under the Senate administration of two cabinet secretaries as part of the Obama transition team in 2008. And he's also a veteran of the Obama administration. Further, he was also the deputy policy director during Obama's first run in office, and he served as a senior policy advisor and special assistant to on the Domestic Policy Council. So again, he has managed Twitter since 2017, particularly Twitter's public policy and government affairs in the U.S. and Canada,
you can't make this shit up,
including the company's response to interference in the 2016 presidential election.
You can't make this
and
up.
Growing criticism over how it moderates content on its sprawling platform.
Yeah,
so there we go.
To me, anti-establishment voices fan. He's pissed off. He wants to remove us completely out of the mix over here.
So there you go.
Not fascism.
We're having a marriage with a giant social media platform and the Democratic Party, because Biden is pretty much representing the Democratic Party contingent. And how is that not fascism? I mean, how is that not encroaching entirely? We're seeing what's happening to Assange. We can't stop talking about it here, but this is exactly like, it's okay for it's not a conflict of interest. Even if he quit, his whole like repertoire is full of Democratic like influences, and he's also on Twitter. Do you not think there's going to be some sort of
high exec at Twitter?
But he had to leave the job, right? He quit. But still, that doesn't mean that he hasn't been involved this whole time, and he clearly has. It's really, really disturbing the way we're headed, and it's really, Twitter, again, none of these platforms should be political at all. They shouldn't be censoring people's tweets. They shouldn't be, they are a private company, so technically they can, but I don't believe in censorship at all. And this is not just... This is an opportunity for massive manipulation of information. Who gets verified, who doesn't, who gets completely shut down, which Twitter accounts are going to get demolished now. It's going to definitely, they're going to use it on the right for sure, but they're also going to use it on the left, the real left.
Establishment. Anybody who speaks out against them, puts that up there. Let's not forget about Kamala Harris over here too, because she had already had somebody from a Twitter executive from as her press secretary. Where are the progressives on this? How do you ever expect to have justice and honesty when you can't call out the hypocrisy on the left? I mean, you have to be able to call it out, ladies and gentlemen, and this is something where the progressives have to say, this is no bueno. You can control the narrative. You can control freedom of speech. You control the media. This is something that should be looked upon very dangerously. And this is kind of funny when I asked her about taking down Donald Trump's Twitter and stuff. Well, she went out and hired somebody that will help him take down the Twitter.
And there you go. And now they're doing all these things like where you can't post this, you can't post that. Instagram is doing it too. Johnny can talk about that, but like you can't film the it's like they were trying to upload filming the cops doing something. Instagram wasn't letting them. Bernie Sanders Brigade was a massive page on Facebook. They just got completely removed on Instagram. They also had got taken down on Facebook. The administrators, it's still there, but you can't access the page or anything. This is like these big tech companies, these media companies, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they're all, and YouTube, they're all doing this. So it's really scary times for our civil liberties, and the left never really cared about civil liberties. They relegated that to being a right-wing pursuit. Oh, my freedom of speech. And now, it's biting us in the ass, as Pasta said, but also there's a lot of hypocrisy too on the right with that too, in regards to protesting, in regards to being able to speak your mind on things that, there's like, oh no, they're rioters. No, they're just protesting. No, that doesn't count. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. If I'm saying you can say whatever you want, even if I disagree with you. Then that means those people get to protest too. And I see a lot of hypocrisy and hyperpolarization on both sides.
The right doesn't say shit when people get censored for saying stuff about China that might be looked in a positive light. That's okay though. Oh, China, anybody says anything positive, Danny Haifong, any of that stuff, you got to take them down. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You got to speak up across the board. You got to call balls and strikes. You can't just cherry pick. And Donald Trump has shown he's cherry picked the election thing. Like we said, he's okay for absentee ballots in Florida. Why? Because he knows he's got that under control and he's got that locked for him. You know what I'm saying? But absentee ballots, other places, mail-in ballots, he's gonna, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna call out the truth there when it's good for him. You know what I'm saying? You can't have it both ways. And the censorship, when you talk about positive stuff about China, which I've had a lot of guests on, like Carl Zog, we've had a lot of guests on, like Carl Zog, Danny Haifong, all these people, Ben Norton, who talk positive stuff, we'll get censored on that. We'll get demonetized on that. And the right won't say
all of our videos are demonetized. The vast majority of our videos get demonetized, just especially when we mention foreign policy, war, anything like that, entirely demonetized.
And by the way, John Ward, don't put your number in the chat. You can just email it to us. We'll call you. We'll talk to you. Just give us a chance.
He already did. So.
Yeah, we're trying to. Well, we're just trying to get caught up. And Kim Cardona, thank you for the super chat contribution, Kim. It is always appreciated on the couch. Oh, Carl Cardona. Sorry, my bad. Carl Cardona, Johnny Codness there. Thank you for the show. The great topic and great show today. I've been feeling that lately. We've been talking about these because everything that's going on right now, fam, you got to laugh at it sometimes, or you can just listen to Joe Biden. Joe Biden, he makes a lot of sense. Not that one, the one below it. That one. Listen to what Joe says, people.
I don't know if I can.
If any of that is being purchased by any government agency, that we will not purchase anything that is not made in America, including the downriver line of what has to be done, all the parts. You can't do what he's doing now. You can't do where he's given a tax break to companies that in fact go overseas, and then import the product back into the United States of America, even though their headquarters is here. The chain, though, you go overseas and they bring it back in cheaper than you being able to produce it. And so I'm going to make sure that it's made in America. I believe, and I mean that. We've been talking about this policy for 100 years. We've never fully done it. We can and must do it now.
So the one thing he says is that we've been talking about it for 100 years. That's the most succinct thing he says, because it's true. But he's not going to do that. Who supported NAFTA and the TPP?
You did, Joe.
I mean, let's be real here. Why is it why are people all of a sudden suddenly going to buy that? You're really going to support that?
Why is he trying to out-Trump Trump?
And I'm not a nationalist.
He can't even make sentences, but he's trying to out-Trump Trump at times. I'm confused. You have an interview with Cardi B. She says you wanted to defund the police. You said you're going to do something about it, but then you have another interview. I'm not going to defund the police. That's Donald Trump. I'm going to keep the police strong. You went on another...
Donald Trump defund the police? Please, I'll vote for him if he's going to do that. He's going to can do that.
That's what he says, but these are the things he's trying to out Trump. And he can't even put together a sentence. He can't. I mean, that was just that was one of maybe 4 or 5 moments just like that, fam. Like you said, what the hell is this guy talking about? And then eventually he'll get to the thesis of what he's trying to say, and you're like, oh, you're talking about made in America. Oh, so you're going to punish people for going overseas and stuff. Meanwhile, you were just all pro TPP. And you were pro NAFTA, and you supported all these oligarchs going overseas and putting their your globalism. I mean, you're a big time globalist. Now you want to try to out Trump and act like you're more of a nationalist. I'm gonna have made in the USA here.
Right?
Like, who the fuck are you kidding?
And I'm not for. I mean either. I mean, I think we need a little bit. It's more of like in this moment, America needs jobs in America for you need a little bit of that right now, and Trump hasn't done enough on that. He said he was gonna do something better, but what he offered was pretty much the same thing. And again, this is it's all bullshit from both of these. I'm just so done with it. They're he can't even have a normal conversation. Why do you think he hasn't accepted Joe Rogan's interview?
Well, first of all, I heard that there was a provision that every 20 minutes he has to get a cookie and milk break, and Joe's not willing to do that, so they're not going to do it. So I mean, but the whole thing that's really ironic about this whole statement is that the fact is that people shouldn't be able to take owners go over to and get a factory and exploit workers in another country.
No.
So therefore they don't have to pay the people over here.
Yeah.
That's why there's no supply chains over here in America. We don't make anything anymore. But the fact is that you were part of the whole clan who wrote laws so they can do that. You took money of those people who went and exploited that labor because you put in the laws into place that they could do that. That was Bill Clinton who signed NAFTA.
And they tried to frame Bernie Sanders as a Republican when he was running in 2016 against the TPP and against NAFTA, because Republicans are the only ones allowed to be against that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense anymore. What this crap is.
You know who else was against the TPP? Trump. Trump was against the TPP.
Right, that's why they were saying that.
And then Biden and Bernie was against it too. Why? Because it shut out American workers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's so
Bernie's
stupid.
like a right-wing nationalist.
I know it's so stupid, but this guy is, if they're not throwing it in your face now, ladies and gentlemen, with this Biden selection, if you're not seeing this, and if you really think that Biden got all these votes, man, dude, I got some land to sell you in the Everglades. I'll tell you that much.